You're listening to From Fear to Love. I'm your host, Alma Lee. Good morning. It is a blustery, cold day here in Charleston, South Carolina. November 2022, November 18th, I believe it is, 2022. I think a lot of times I get caught up in my helpy mentality, the helper. Let's talk to people and give them guidance. I think that's what people, my followers, my audience, the people that follow me on social media, my clients, I tend to lean into that mentorship mindset a lot of times, most of the time actually. And today I just want to be me. I just want to be Alma with you for just this episode and relate to you at a level that I'm not normally occupying that space, and talk about perspective and what perspective means to me. And hopefully, as I record this episode of From Fear to Love, that you can resonate with some of the same feelings, right? Do you ever feel like your day is sort of dictated by your mood first thing in the morning? That's something that I've dealt with probably pretty much the whole of my adult life anyway. I do my meditation every morning. I'll have some coffee. I'll do my social media scrolling and, check my messages, and I'll do a tentative email check. And I do my meditation before I, hop on my phone for work and start checking in with my folks that I have pre-scheduled, and text messages and those emails and things like that. A lot of that sort of, it's a cacophony, right? It's like a symphony of different sounds is the way I look at it. All of these different influences kind of coming at me from all different angles. So I have all this external periphery, all of this external stuff coming at me first thing in the morning. And then I have the stuff that rolls around on the inside. And so a big part of how I relate to people, and hopefully to you, is by being transparent in the expression of that and talking about it. And, being as authentic as I know how to be, as comfortable as I can be with it. In talking about how every day my mood is affected. That's a big reason why I meditate too, by the way. I meditate just as a means of getting out of my own way. And it works. It helps. It's deeply impactful on my perspective. What in the world am I talking about? Well, your perspective, that's everything. Your perspective is guided by your beliefs, your bias, your culture, your grooming, the things that you've been programmed to believe, think, and feel, your cognitions, schemas, all those fancy, fun words. Your perspective is everything. And that's what I want to talk about here for just a few moments. The way that you see yourself and the way that you move through every day is a direct result of your perspective. I think it's true for me, at least, because I know that in the past, before I embarked on this journey, before I started to elevate into my spiritual awakening, I will say that, I allowed my perspective to sort of guide me, as opposed to the other way around, where I take control back over my life and my perspective. That's what I want to share with you. I think a lot of people get stuck in their life because of this, maybe this subconscious perspective that they align with. I think that your perspective is the root of all of your joy, and it's the root of all of your despair. And it's your choice. I posted today on social media, you get to choose what kind of day to have. And you do. You do. I think a lot of people don't realize that they have a choice. And I think that it's extremely pertinent that today I make this episode, because yesterday I had a wonderful day. Yesterday was, I felt very accomplished. I felt like I was very thorough in the interactions I had with the people that reached out to me from work. And I had an incredible sense of validation in those interactions. And the other side of that was I wasn't concerned with creating an episode of this podcast yesterday because I was feeling good about myself. I didn't feel any of that pressure to share. I just really wanted to relish how good the day was. But then, of course, this morning I woke up and some of the old garbage that I sort of, marinate with from time to time, I found it was more prevalent this morning. And I thought, you know what? I need to take a look at this. And that's what I want to share with you, is that it's important, especially when you're not feeling well, when you are waking up, when you're starting your day and you have these feelings of dread, these feelings of doom, these feelings of, oh God, what am I going to do about that bill? What am I going to do about that relationship? How can I affect change positively in my working relationships or the relationship with my children or my spouse or whatever is weighing heavily on your mind deserves your attention, because for whatever reason, that issue, that situation, those feelings, it's a direct result of your perspective. Think about it. It's not the situation itself that is causing you this feeling, this heaviness, this weight, this negative emotion. It's your perspective about it. Now, I could go into the weeds and talk about gratitude and say, well, you just need to, focus on the good things and focus on what you can be grateful for. And I do encourage that. I mean, you can't be happy if you do not cultivate a mindset of daily gratitude. You can be happy right here and now if you choose to be by your expression of gratitude. But your gratitude can only be expressed from a perspective. You see where this is going, right? So what is your perspective? What is your daily perspective? We need reminders, and we need to listen to podcasts from people who remind us. I listen to podcasts. I listen to Wayne Dyer, Joe Dispenza, Abraham Hicks, all of the, Eckhart Tolle, Jay Shetty, Mel Robbins is a good one as well. Tony Robbins, Oprah, the folks out there. These are the people that from a mental wellness speak truth to power and cause people to sort of shift their mindset a little bit. Those are the people that I lean into. Those are the people that I feel are mentors, as well as the people that are in my personal life, which I won't name them, but you get where I'm going. You get to choose your perspective by how you're engaging your energy day to day. So when you wake up in the morning, here's what I want to encourage you to do. Because I felt a little drained this morning. I felt a little, I don't want to say I was down, but there was this omnipresent feeling of, paying bills and, the normal stuff that comes up that creates this irritation. And it can really affect how your day goes. And I'm so sorry, but my time is my most valuable commodity, and I do not want to waste any of it with worry. I don't want to waste any of it with negative thoughts and feelings, negative cognitions. I want to reframe my perspective, and that's an exercise. You can go to the gym, work out all day long, and feel great about yourself for that day, but if you don't continue that practice, those feelings won't last. The same thing goes for your mental well-being. You have to engage in a daily practice of cultivating a healthy perspective, something that is valuable and valued. And I'm not talking about being delusional. I'm not talking about lying to yourself and saying, oh, my life is great, it's happy all the time. It's not about that as much as it is being real and rational and leaning into more positives than negatives. And you can do that. I don't care who you are. If Viktor Frankl, who was writing his, I guess he was journaling memoirs in the Holocaust, can talk about, choosing gratitude, I think it's possible for you as well. I know it's possible for me. My perspective is when I'm feeling rough, when I'm feeling not as positive maybe as I would like to feel, then that's when I know I need to shift my perspective. I especially need to pour myself into my meditation more so in those moments than I would normally. And that's what I want to share with you today as a reminder that you have all the power, just like I do. I have all the power. I remind myself, and I listen to those mentors, and I listen to those podcasts, and I listen to those guided meditations regularly to remind me, especially when my ego gets in the way, when my, I guess you can call it your 3D awareness, which is very one-dimensional. I'm speaking very, I'm talking about my spiritual awakening jargon. If you're not familiar, don't worry about it. I definitely think you should be, but that's a different podcast. But when my ego gets in my way, that's when I know that I need to exercise my perspective. I need to go to my mental well-being gym, if you will, and work on cultivating a better, healthier perspective. So what is my perspective? Well, my perspective is that I'm healthy, I'm abundant, I'm confident. I reaffirm these daily affirmations on a regular basis in order to cultivate that positive perspective. I have overcome every challenge that has ever been presented to me in my life. Those are some really good odds. And that is something that I use daily as well to remind me to maintain that positive focus. Of course, we have worries. Of course we do. We worry. But at the same time, there's a difference between worrying and allowing it to affect your mood, affect your state of wellness, affect your positive ability to be mindful in the moment, especially when you're cultivating that gratitude mindset. It happens to me regularly. I think one of the biggest things for me is when I read something that's unfair or inappropriate or insulting or derogatory online that treats people disrespectfully, or when I'm treated disrespectfully, I feel myself getting pulled back into that heavy, low vibration of self, and that affects my perspective. I don't need to touch on that. I need to be very careful of my energy. I am the steward of my well-being. I'm the one that is responsible for making sure that I don't allow parasitic energies too close to me. I think you should do the same. I talk about boundaries. It all ties together. But you have all the power. Your perspective, the way you look at the world, the way you see yourself in the world around you is critical for you to pay attention to in order for you to ascend into your highest self and for you to be reaching not just that homeostasis of good enough or survivability, but for you to elevate above that into your space of joy. When's the last time you experienced joy? When's the last time you felt elated and that you were happy and grateful in where you are in the here and the now? For me, it was yesterday. I was making some Kraft macaroni and cheese for my daughter and I just cranked up some music in the kitchen, and she and I, we're kind of foragers as opposed to sit down and eat a big meal type people. So we tend to forage, and that's what I was doing. And I was cranking up my music, and I was jamming out and dancing in the kitchen by myself and having a blast doing it. And I felt joyful. And in the moment, I can remember thinking, this is something I need to share this. Everything that good that happens in my life when appropriate, I always want to share it with everyone else because I feel like that's my role. I feel like that's my purpose. So my perspective, it shifts regularly, and I just pay attention to it, especially when my perspective starts to lean into more of a worrisome place. That's when I know I need to work. I need to do work. I need to work harder. It's not about, like I said, it's not about deluding myself or lying to myself. It's about reminding myself that this is life and that I have overcome everything, just like you have. You've overcome every obstacle. Now, granted, the outcome may not have been what you had intended or desired, but you're here. You're listening to this right now. And you've overcome all of the challenges that have ever been placed in front of you. And the outcome, again, maybe wasn't a desired outcome, but you're here. I think that's something to be appreciated and you should be grateful for. But at the same time, it's also a point of learning, right? We're growing. I believe that the reason that we're here to begin, as human beings in this existence, is to elevate, learn, and spiritually grow. And I really think that is what we're doing. I think that's what we should pay attention to. And don't hold so tightly onto the outcome, because, if there's one thing I've learned is that when I have an anticipated outcome, there's an attachment, right? And when we're attached to an outcome, when we have an expectation of an outcome, there is nothing that will create more distress in your life than to be attached to an expectation of some type of event or occurrence to happen, whether that's the outcome of a relationship, the outcome of a job, the outcome of, anything that you desire. You have to release it back to the universe. You have to allow that energy to flow freely. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out. You have to let go of control. That was the biggest thing for me, is to release control. Allow things to play out the way that the universe wants them to play out. Have faith and remind yourself what your perspective is. My perspective is, I'm not going to be overly invested in the outcome. I'm going to express my affirmations in a positive frame. I am going to do good work. I am going to set an example both for myself, my children, as well as the people that I work with and the people that choose to follow me, and be a good person and be a good steward and set a really good example. I want to be a good steward of my well-being. I think people need to see that. I think that we need more of that in the world, which is why I want to cultivate that and share that. So this morning I caught myself, and in my meditation, I realized that I needed to work on my perspective, and I needed to pay attention to that and understand that those negative feelings, I cannot allow those negative feelings to dominate me and to affect the type of day I choose to have. I will have a wonderful day today. I already did my meditation. I'm already feeling 100% better after doing my meditation. And so now I feel activated, I feel energized, and I feel whole and ready to take on the day in a more positive mindset. And I just feel like you just shake it off and you move forward. When you shift your perspective, that happens each and every time. So just pay attention to your perspective. If you're having a crappy day, here's the short end, right? If you're having a crappy day and you're feeling bad and you're feeling down and you're feeling depressed, and maybe you're having some anxiety and you're having some anticipation of, oh God, the worst is going to happen, take some deep breaths, okay? Take some deep breaths. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. Deep diaphragmatic breath. Hold for just a moment, in through the nose and out through the mouth. And do that a couple of times. Remind yourself that you're a baddie. You got this. This is nothing new. You have been down this road so many times before. You'll go down this road again. For sure. You are the steward of your well-being. You get to decide. You get to choose what kind of day you're going to have. And I want you to have a fantastic day. It's the holiday season. For a lot of people, that's a very stressful time of the year. For some people, it's not. It's an exciting time. You get to see friends and family. Whatever it is for you, I hope that you are able to get into that positive headspace and take your power back. Don't allow those pressures, those stressors to affect your mood. And choose and decide that you're going to have a perspective of positivity, which will give you a better day ahead. All right, guys. From fear to love. This has been an LBM production. Please like, subscribe, and share this show. Thanks for listening.